Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get you set up on MyITLab. So the first thing you need to do is go into Fanch Online and click Content. And then in the left box, you're going to click on Using MyITLab. I've already got it open, so I don't have to do it right now. And here you can see your course ID. So this is your instructor code, which is going to be required for working with MyITLab. There's also an instructions down here that you can click on. It'll give you that code as well. Okay, so now the first thing we need to do is to go into MyITLab. So I'm going to open up another window, and I'm using DuckDuckGo, which is an extension on Chrome on Google, but doesn't matter. I'm just going to go to the search bar. I'm going to type MyITLab. And I'm going to click on MyITLab. Okay, so you're a student, so you're going to register for the course. So I'm going to set up here. You'll need these three things, so we'll talk about this. You need an email address. Your email address, you can use any email address you want. Just be aware that whatever email address you use is the one that MyITLab or Pearson will communicate to you with. So if you forget your password or something, that's the email address they'll send it to you. So make sure that it's a correct, viable address. So you can use your Fanch Online one, you can use your Gmail, Hotmail, whatever the case may be. You're going to need the instructor's code, which is that code that we showed on the prior screen right here, which is Quinn71726. And we'll come back to the access code in a minute. Okay, register now. All right, so you're going to put in 71726. Okay, and then it will give you confirmation of the course. If you already have now, if you currently have an active MyITLab, if you've purchased MyITLab in the past because you're retaking the course or you've taken a different course that uses MyITLab for, then your MyITLab license will probably still work. In which case, you're just going to sign on to MyITLab and join the section Quinn 71726. This other one here, would be if you currently have a Pearson account for something like economics or something along that line. We're just going to go straight here to create a new account. In here you would put in all of your information. Now I'm going to well, we'll go through it and see what happens and see if it works. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to put in an address. So let's see here. junk@junk.com. Oh, alright, I played with that one before. Okay, let's try something different here. New account at bogus.com. Okay, and you have to put in a password, so we'll put in a password. First name, last name, security question, agree to the terms, and create your account. Now you're going to be seeing three options here. So if you've currently if you purchased a textbook, then when you buy the textbook, there'll be a folder in the shrink wrap on the textbook that has your access code. If you buy the code from the bookstore, just be aware when you buy the code from the bookstore, they will give you a code, but that is not your MyITLab code. At the very top of the receipt, it will say on there that you have to go to www.fanchawretail.ca and redeem your access code, at which point then you type in the code that's on the receipt to get the actual access code you need for MyITLab. All right. Remember, you can buy the textbook at the bookstore for 120 bucks or so that comes with MyITLab, or you can buy just the MyITLab code for $100 that comes with the e-textbook. You can also buy the code directly here for $100 US, but just be aware that this is US dollars. You're better off to buy it at the bookstore for $100 Canadian than you are to pay 100 US, because with exchange it's going to be 130 or so. All right. Now you also have the option here to get a temporary access without payment for 14 days, which is what we're going to use. And now it's setting up the account. Now if this doesn't work, because every now and again what it will do is it will go through and it'll say that your account is being set up later, in which case you have to sign on. In our case it's worked, so I'm good. So I'm going to go to my courses, and I am now in. All right, well, by the way, so every time you go in for the next 14 days, it's going to come up and it's going to say temporary access expires in 14, 13, 12, and so on. All I have to do when I do buy my code is click here and enter my code, and I'm fine. On the other hand, if your access code has expired, you would still sign into MyITLab, and it would ask you immediately to put in your access code before it gives you anywhere. So in our case, we're good. So I'm going to go to my course. And within the course, I'm going to have, so getting started just displays the screen. There are some things here about how to make sure that you're set up, but don't worry about the time zone, but set up MyITLab to make sure that everything works. MyITLab uses pop-ups, so if you've got pop-ups turned off on your computer, you will have to turn them on, or you will have to set up MyITLab as a trusted site. All the instructions are here in this Setup MyITLab. We'll also check to make sure that other things are working and set up the way you need. To do your actual work each week, you're going to click on Course Materials, and within Course Materials you're going to display all of the options that are there. So there's your e-textbook, so you can click here to look at the textbook. Again, when you buy the code, you can also, there are instructions in that using MyITLab folder on how to set it up on your phone. So you can read it on a phone or a tablet, or you can click on it here to access it directly on the computer. Then each week, so this week we're in this option here, Office 2016 Common Features. So let me show you what's here. Within here we have something called PowerPoint and Videos. So if I was to click here, you can see that we have PowerPoints for the week. There's PowerPoints, and then audio PowerPoint just reads the slides to you, so that's for visually impaired. And then each week within MyITLab, within the chapter or that week that we're working on, there are 10 skills in each chapter. So there is a video on each one of those skills that comes from MyITLab. I'm going to go back. We also have something called skill-based training. Now I'm not going to show you this one because this isn't going to be on your site. I'm going to take these off for this particular week. And then we have a grader, which we're going to do on the next video. So just to show you how the MyITLab training works, I'm going to go into next week. So PowerPoint, getting started. So PowerPoint, so there's your videos, and there's your grader, which we're going to show you how to do in a minute. And here's your skill-based training. So what the skill-based training is are computer simulations of the 10 different skills that you're going to be working through that week. So the perfect way to do this course is that before you try the attempts to do the grader, you go through the skill-based training, which will take you through the steps. So here's what your screen will look like. All right. So this is not actually PowerPoint, it's just a simulation of PowerPoint. Down the right hand side you can see in the Documents folder, locate the file named this, select it, and then click Open. All right. So in the Documents folder, okay, and we're going to go to Browse, and in the Documents folder, there's the file, and we're going to open it. And then on the File tab, click Save As, and then in your PowerPoint folder, save the file as what have you. So on the File tab, click Save As, save the presentation as, so that's fine. So Browse, Chapter 1, and we're going to save the file as my_skills ppt1 lifestyle.txt, and then save it. Alright, so it tells you that the question is complete, and it'll bring up the next question. Now here what I do is I want to show you how to use the help options here. So I can jump back and forth to questions here. I can move around. I can also go to look at the questions here, go to a particular question. But what's important here is this thing called learning aids. Within the learning aids, if I don't know how to do something, I can say, well, show me how to do it. So I can watch a video, but the best way is to click here on practice. And what that will do is it will take you through. What did I do? Probably spelled it wrong or something. Oh, no capital. Okay, practice complete. Now try it yourself, and then I would just simply go through and go out. So that is the skill-based training. So I'm going to close. Oh, the other options here. So this is accessibility. So there are options in here to let's see here where accessibility on. Yeah. All right. And so just bring up a keyboard. Anyway, that's fine. So let's just close this. Okay, so that's the skill-based training. So that's going to be available in each chapter. So that's another option or thing that you have available to you in MyITLab. It does mark it, so you can see I got 10% on that one, but those marks are meaningless. They're not carried into your account. All right, so let's go back. And basically that's it. Once you have completed your graders, well, let me show you how to do that when we do the next video. So that's basically getting you set up on MyITLab and getting you into the account. All right, good. So shift. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to complete a practice grader to show you how you complete graders in MyITLab, how they're marked, how you can check your mistakes and fix them, and so on. Okay, so we're going to click on, so you've got to be in MyITLab. Of course, you click on course materials to bring up the list of courses. You're going to go here to Office 2016 Common Features, and we're going to click here on the Comp 1332 Common Features Practice Grader. What this will do is bring up another box where you have the option to download your starting materials. So if I click here, you can see that there are 3 files. There's a set of instructions, a Word document that we're going to be completing, and a picture that we're going to put in that Word document. We have preview the steps. This is just a list of all of the instructions. So I think there's like 5. Just again, this is just for practice, so it's not a big one. Those instructions are also available here in the downloaded instruction file here. Then once you have completed all the work, so what you'll do is it's kind of a 2-step or a 3-step process. You're going to download your materials, you're going to work through the instructions. When you're done, you'll save your file. Once you've saved the file, you'll go here to upload your completed assignment, and once you've uploaded it, then you'll submit it for grading. So let's start. So we're going to go to here. The instructions are here. Now, please don't use this download all files option. If you do that, what it does is it creates a zip file, and then you'll have to extract all of the files out of that zip file. It's much simpler to do it one step at a time. So download to download the instructions. All right, so where do I want them? I'm going to put them in my downloads folder. Okay, and then I'm going to download the starting file. Same thing, downloads folder, and I'm going to download the picture that I need for the grader assignment and put that. Okay, so there are my 3 files. All right, so these are my instructions. This is the file that we're going to be working on, and this is the picture that we're going to need. Okay, so if I click here and look at the instructions, now normally I've got two monitors here, so normally I would drag my instructions over to another monitor so I can look at them at the same time. But so there's my instructions. So it says the first thing you do is you're going to download the start file using MyITLab Grader Word Example.docx and the picture from MyITLab, and then open the Word file. Then we're going to apply a theme. There are hints in here. You're going to do some other options. So you're going to do these 5 different things, and then you're done. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that for right now. I'm going to bring up the file that I'm going to be working on. Right. So there's my file. Those are my instructions. So the first thing it says is apply the Ion theme to the Word document. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to enable the editing. I'm going to go to the Design tab where you have all your themes. I'm going to click on Themes. Come on. And I want Ion. All right. So I've done that. And then click to select the text. Oh, text. That should be text. I'll fix that. The text first, last, and replace it with the text Susan White. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to type Susan White, I think. Yep. I'm going to put in a date of September the 12th, 2020. Right. And I'm going to type let's see here, the subject, and I'm going to put in sales revenue. I'm actually going to make a mistake on this one, because I want to be able to show you how to fix your mistakes. So sales revenue, it's supposed to be revenue. And then in the type memo here, this is the memo text, including the period. Now, just as we're going through this, just be aware that MyITLab it's a computer that's marking your assignment. So it is very precise in how it works on things. So you have to be very careful on your spelling. You have to make sure you're using American spelling. So if it's center, it's ER, not RE. You have to make sure that you include or exclude punctuation, and it will tell you in the instructions whether you should include periods, commas, or what have you, or not include the periods, commas, and so on. So as an example here, I typed in this is the memo text. If I didn't put the period in here, it would mark that whole statement wrong in MyITLab. All right, so you've got to be very, very careful when you're working through these options. Okay, so select the text sales revenue and apply bold and italic formats. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the text. I'm going to go to my Home tab. I'm going to make it bold and italics. Now I'm probably going to get a couple of error messages because I didn't type revenue out properly, but whatever. Let me just minimize this down here so I don't have it keep popping up. Okay. All right, so that's that. Then we're going to click in the open box to the left of the heading Aspen Falls City Hall and place the insertion point inside the visible box. Insert the picture forest and apply the simple frame white picture style. Okay, so I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to insert a picture from the device. We put it in the Downloads folder, so I'm going to go to Downloads. There's the picture. I'm going to insert that picture. All right, and now notice that when I'm in the picture, I have this menu called Picture Formats. All right, so I'm going to click on that. Oh, sorry, must be on the table design. No, it's not. It's got to be picture formats. Where are we here? Oh, quick styles. All right. It's just because I've got a condensed screen. So then I'm going to do simple frame white. Okay. And if I go back to here, I can see that that's it. So save my Word document and submit it to MyITLab for grading. Okay. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to just do a save as so that I know exactly where I'm saving this file. I'm going to browse. I'm going to put it on my desktop. I'll leave the name, but I could change the name if I wanted to. It doesn't matter. I'm going to save it. So we are now done. I'm going to close that. There's my family. And I'm going to go back to this screen. So we've done all of this and this. Now we're going to submit the file for marking. So I'm going to choose the file. I put it on the desktop. And it is, where? Didn't I put it on the desktop? Oh, it's a Word document. I'm looking at PowerPoints. Where are we here? Account using MyITLab. There we go here. Okay, I'm going to open that file, and then I'm going to upload. I'll get a message saying it's ready to go, and I'm going to submit it for grading. All right. So at this point in time, the file has been submitted. MyITLab is currently marking it. Now I want to check to see what my mark was. So I could just refresh the screen, or I'm going to click on these three dots and click on View Submission. So it tells me I got 83%. So I'm going to click on that and find out where I made my mistakes when we know where we did it, because we typed sales rev instead of revenue. Then it's going to look here, and I can see, well, I lost marks here, right? Because remember, we didn't have revenue spelled out. And I lost 10 marks here. So I'm going to click that arrow, and it's going to tell me that select the text, whoops, right here, cell 5, that starts with sales revenue was not detected in the submission as you reported the failure of the paragraph. The text was not set as sales revenue, right? We knew that because we typed sales rev. Okay. And because that's wrong, this is wrong, because it's looking for sales revenue. All right. So notice as well here that when I'm in this screen, I can download my submitted file. So whatever file I submitted, I can, if so, one of the mistakes that a lot of people make here is that they do all the work and then they save the file, but they forget where they've saved it, and they submit the wrong file to MyITLab for marking. MyITLab will mark anything. So if you send it the totally wrong file, it'll still try to mark it. You'll get zeros, or sometimes you'll get a couple of marks just because certain things are there. But just be sure that whatever file you submit is the one that you did the work on. Okay, and we won't worry about the rest of them. Okay, so I know that I made a mistake on that sales revenue, so I can go back. So now, because it's still available to me, I can go back here. I'm going to fix this, right, to sales revenue. So now I've fixed my mistake. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to MyITLab. And I'm going to resubmit it. So I've made the changes, so I don't need to download everything again because I've just can continue to use the same file. I'm going to choose the file on the desktop, wherever the heck it was, right here. Open it, upload it, submit for grading. Kudos. And again, remember, that's the first mark. So I'm going to look here, view submission, and there's my second file with 100%. Okay. Now in MyITLab, I'm going to set up all your grader assignments for unlimited tries, but they'll all be due Friday at midnight. So up until Friday of the week that it's due, you can try it as many times as you need to get your best mark. So it's up to you if you want to just do it once. If you get an 80 and you say that's good enough, then you're done. But if you want to get 100, you can see quite often it's a matter of 3 minutes, 5 minutes to fix it and get a better mark. Okay, that's basically get you through your very first MyITLab grader assignment. Thanks a lot. Bye.